Hey, how you doing guys? ZedEye here. So today definitely was an interesting day. So for the past few hours, even a few days, we actually have gotten a very huge rumor and a little bit of theories as well regarding of the changes within the PlayStation. So I want to mention first of all, this is extremely important that there is no credible leak going towards this. So you have to take this as a grain of salt. This may be complete beat bollocks and in fact may not be coming into fruition at all. Some of the changes are perhaps maybe we could expect some changes in that, but a lot of cases as well, no, I don't think there's going to be much of changes as well. So I want to get into the individual bullet points that are quite substantial and related towards the changes within PlayStation and also with the, what kind of concentration that they're going towards as well, since, live service titles. But yeah, it seems like there may be some things that have been changed within that. So Sony is scaling back with their live service titles plans, and obviously since it should be interesting to see what kind of direction they're gonna go with, because they're actually putting more effort into the live service titles now comparing to the campaign on like solo plays, single player gameplays, or games in general. And as such, there was actually a report that came in and was a promise of having 10 live service titles coming and by the launch of 2026. So it still is interesting to see, if this will pan out. At this point, I'm kind of doubting it a little bit, but also, I don't think they're just simply outright gonna cancel it just because for the sake of canceling it. But nevertheless, there is still a possibility that they may go through it. The reason that they actually may cancel, because, well, if they have already canceled Naughty Dog's, Last of Us Factions 2, then I just don't know what to expect now out of PlayStation. Because for them, a brand, it is very necessary, right? Like they're not like comparing to Microsoft that they can keep on getting losses and losses again and again, because they can't really afford that. And so they want to have a very good brand recognition, and having those kind of a fail after fail or like anti-consumer moves, that's not exactly a good look for PlayStation. And maybe that's the reason why they simply decided to kind of shelve the idea of live service title as such as like Last of Us Factions 2 anyway, right? And it still is an interesting fact that, will it still be coming sometime in the future? Factions 2, is it just simply being shelved and that's for the time being? Maybe it's getting brought back into, I'm not too sure, perhaps with the re-release of The Last of Us Part 2 for the PlayStation 5. There's a lot of speculations that we can definitely make. There's also a little bit of a mention that they're opting to leverage third-party collaborations with Sega and Bandai Namco, who are reportedly working on Sony's IP, even though that's kind of a step that was already made previously and was already seen before. It's nothing really new here, so they're opting on it even more. That's great. More exclusive games and fantastic titles for PlayStation, it's always a win. Now, not to say exclusive is not exactly consumer-friendly move. Well, it is consumer-friendly for PlayStation users. There's some as well, developers reportedly weren't exactly happy being taken off quality single-player games to work on the games as a service, and I think I completely agree. In some cases, I do believe that as well. If they don't have much of an experience to create their games based on games as a service, instead they're more known for the fact of making fantastic storytelling, single-player titles, cinematic gameplay, and with the movie elements. I think more power to them. Just let them do whatever they want. And I don't think it's a good thing to, how can I say, control the developers of what they can craft and create. Now, as long as, I think that what PlayStation wants, and with the direction that they've been heading, I think that they, like I said, want something ginormous, AAA scope, movie-esque, just bombastic through hell, for sure, like God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone, Death Stranding, right, and so many more of these sorts of titles. And they're all going towards that kind of a little bit of a similar direction. They're moving away more from the cartoony, animated style gameplay, and games in general like that. And that's why perhaps a lot of developers were a little bit annoyed due to it. But also, I'm not gonna say that everybody was annoyed. I'm sure a lot of people are definitely ecstatic of actually working on titles such as that. There's a little bit of report as well that Jim Ryan was the one who pushed for the games to be as a service, like a live service. We can't really say much about this, if it's true or not. There are some reports, some rumors, but again, that's just reports and rumors. It means nothing. Oh yeah, well, recently it's been confirmed that Coney Booth likely left due to the failing to quell the rebellion within the Sony against the live service games. I don't know, because like there's been a report as well that, well, she got literally fired, not leaving but got fired, and that's actually quite a big deal. Now, I haven't been, keeping up with the information regarding her, why exactly she got fired, but I don't know. I think that maybe that is the case, right? Maybe she couldn't quell the rebellion. Maybe that was the case. I don't know. But it still is interesting to find out why did she get fired, and it was so explicit as well, like not getting just quitting or retiring or moving on somewhere else. No, literally getting fired. That's a big deal. That's actually a very bad look for your CV or resume. And this actually kind of goes similarly towards Jim Ryan. Was he actually, pushed to retire due to his decisions with the live service titles? And of course, that we have read his statement, it was his own willingness to retire for reasons such as that his family is based in Britain while he had to work in America, so it made it very tough for him to visit his family and to see them while he's doing his job down there in America and stuff. And so I still think that, yeah, it's hard to say, right? Like with the corporate statements and the corporate talks and public reception and everybody that actually have some kind of information regarding these two people, Coney Booth and also Jim Ryan, we may never know exactly the reason why they got left behind, if that makes sense. Perhaps Jim Ryan's case is genuinely was just that, because he's done with work. He's been with the PlayStation for the past 30 years? It's insane long time, very long time. And perhaps the man wants to simply retire and be with his family. It's already a good enough reason. I don't know why it has to be something that's a lot more malicious of an intent behind the vaccine. And Coney Booth, well, her situation might be a little bit different, and perhaps there is something very, very drastical and very serious that she literally got fired for. Or perhaps maybe it's just got out of the proportions, and the reports have mentioned that she got fired and making a very big deal. But in genuine case, that was actually not the case at all. You see, there's a lot of things, a lot of speculations, a lot of rumors, theories, and stuff like that, and unfortunately, we may never know. Now, a lot of other credible leakers, such as Jason Schreier, he could definitely report about the situation, and then he could definitely mention the reasoning, because, with his reports, well, he's pretty much on point every single time. I don't think he even got anything wrong at once. But yeah, it is interesting to have a little bit of a discussion regarding this. Now, let's share a little bit of my thoughts as well. I want to discuss regarding that, am I glad to see that, perhaps they'll be going towards a more of a single player gameplay and games in general, comparing that to the lives as a service. I think I'm alright with either or, because, if PlayStation is the one that is basically publishing a live service game, I'm curious to see what there will be something relates to that. Because all the live service multiplayer titles that PlayStation published, such as Ghost of Tsushima Legends, I really have enjoyed it. I also have enjoyed The Last of Us multiplayer factions. I really do like those titles because they gives the longevity in the game and also replayability value. And I'm gonna say this for a fact, that the biggest problem that PlayStation has with their games, that they are incredible, fantastic games. That's not a problem, but the problem is, when you finish those games, more times than not, well, maybe some of you will not agree with me, or perhaps not even going to admit, but unfortunately, when you're done with the story, you'll never come back. Or when you're done with the Platinum Trophy, you will never come back. And that's just the thing, there's no replayability value while putting in so many of millions and millions of dollars into developing this title, and yet only person purchased the game once and that's it, he's done playing it. It's like, where's the investment and the future costs? And as such, why to have a live service titles brought into here, I think it may be a good thing. Maybe. But again, because we have seen what does it mean to have a live service games, we are afraid. and we don't want it to be here. But again, if they can do a good job of live service titles, then perhaps maybe let them do it and give it a shot. Give them 1 or 2, 3 games to see if they will be live up to kind of expectations of many that wants to have from the live service titles. If they can do a good job and they can actually constantly keep updating and feeding us with new content and a little bit of a, sure, you can have some sort of expansions behind the payment, I don't think that will be necessarily a bad thing. But again, we have to wait and see. That's just genuinely is it. Alright guys, that's all I want to have a little bit of discussion regarding the situation. Do let me know as well. Just want to report just one last time that all this information, all these bullet points are just rumors. They are just theories, they have nothing truly credible about them, but nevertheless, I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion regarding it. Alright, like and subscribe. See you guys all later, and yeah, have a wonderful day.